Hi, I'm JJ. Welcome or welcome back. It's another Tag Tuesday, and this is a tag that I chose. I really liked the questions, and it was fun answering them. It's the Howzat original tag by Gavin at Genre Books 23, and it's actually books about cricket or phrases about cricket, and then there's bookish relation to that. So I will start now, and yeah, it was really fun, so I was glad that I did this one. So number one, opening Batsman. A writer who builds a strong opening of a book or just a great first line. This could be several. As far as a beautiful sentence, opening line, ships at a distance have everyone's wish on board. And that was an incredible line, opening line from Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. I liked that book so much more than I was expecting. One that kind of pulls you in and makes you want to read more. It was a queer, sultry summer, the summer they executed the Rosenbergs, and I didn't know what I was doing in New York. And that's from Sylvia Plath, The Bell Jar. I thought that was fantastic. Dickens also has several great lines. You know, everyone knows the one from Tale of Two Cities, but I really liked the one from David Copperfield, and the opening line is, "Whether I shall turn out to be the hero of my own life or whether that station will be held by anyone else, these pages must show." So I really liked that one. Opening partner. A writer you've built a relationship with over time. So some authors that I instantly read any of their books are Angeline Bowley. She writes a lot of Indigenous books, or 3 of them so far, and I have really enjoyed all of them, especially since they're set in Michigan, which is where I'm from. So it adds this bit of nostalgia to it by mentioning names of places and stuff that I know well. And another one is actually a queer writer, and Ashley Herring Blake, and she writes middle grade, young adult, and adult books, and I have enjoyed every one of them. There's especially a young adult one that I really liked, Girls Made of Glass. And then also making my way through Eden Wharton, Eric Maria Remarque, Thomas Hardy, John Steinbeck, and Elizabeth Gaskell. Basically, when I read any of their books, I know that I'm going to enjoy them. First Change is number 3. Imagine if you finished a book that you did not enjoy, or you DNF a book. Who won't let you down? So where would you go next? Frederick Bachman, I finally started reading his books this year, and I read the Beartown trilogy and My Friends. All 4 books I gave 5 stars, so he definitely would be a go-to for me now. And also Alexander Dumas. Every book that I've read of his, with the exception of Queen Margot, but that was just because I wanted more Catherine de Medici in there. But otherwise, I have never been let down by one of his stories. Number 4, Middle Order. What are the last 3 books that you've read that, were you to mark them out of 5, would get a definite 3? Now, these are books that I did thoroughly enjoy, but I didn't love them. And the last 3 that I would rate that way were Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis, and Fate Spain by C.L. Clarke. I just had a lot of expectations going in, and I wanted them to be better than I guess I thought they were. But like I said, I still enjoyed them. Number 5, Wicket Keeper. Tell us about a strong or eccentric character. For this one, I tried to choose someone that I didn't get to talk about a lot in other books because I had read it before I started my channel. So I chose Elena from Elena Knows by Claudia Pinheiro. And this is a beautiful story, a rough story. So she has Parkinson's, and she's highly, rapidly declining. It's really hard for her to get around. It's hard for her to even sometimes talk or swallow when eating or drinking. But her daughter just recently died, and the police stopped the investigation. They ruled it a suicide, and she's bound and determined to find out what really happened to her daughter, because she knows, which is the story, and so she knows her daughter, and she wants to bring justice to her and find out the truth. And it follows her as she's going through the city and investigating and learning more about her daughter, learning about how she keeps getting trapped in her body that wants and to do more, but is limited. And she will not let that break her. She wants to find the truth. And it is a very interesting character. It's very well done. And it's a really great book. Number 6, All Rounder. A writer you think is excellent in multiple genres. So for this one, I picked Oscar Wilde or Shakespeare. Shakespeare with his comedies, tragedies, as well. History, sonnets. He even did some epic poems. But Oscar Wilde, he has a great novel, Picture of Dorian Gray. But then he does lots of plays that are all comedic, except for Salome, which is not at all comedic. Actually, some of it is, but it's much more eerie and quite different from the other stuff that he writes. And as well, he writes poetry. I have his collected works, so also letters and stuff from when he was in prison. So I would pick him as well. Number 7, Spinner. A writer who completely bamboozled and deceived you with a plot twist. This will always be The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. I did not expect how that book went at all. Such a great book. Number 8, Fast Bowler. Fast Bowler? Tell us a writer where you rate their short stories above their novels. Ernest Hemingway. I enjoy his shorter stuff. I'm not actually a fan of his novels, although I still need to read A Time of A Farewell to Arms. But as for the other stuff, I preferred his shorter stuff. But my favorite short story, period, is J.D. Salinger's A Girl I Knew. So he would, that beats his novels. So I guess he would fit here as well. If you haven't read that one, I actually found it free online. So you just type in Salinger, A Girl I Knew, and I was able to read the whole short story online. I couldn't find a copy. If I ever find a copy, I definitely want to buy a copy of that. Number 9, Chin Music, a book with a brutal or visceral scene that left scars. Hands down, Betty by Tiffany McDaniel. I loved this book, but it was trauma after trauma, and you have to read the trigger warnings before you read any of this. There was so many scenes that would fit this category or this question, but the one in particular that I am haunted by is an animal cruelty scene that just devastated me, and it was way too graphic. And so if you are going to read that book, just make sure that you are aware of the numerous trigger warnings within that book. Number 10, the last one, 12th Man, Refreshments, suggest a palate cleanser of a book. So I usually read a lot of darker stuff. I wanted for a palate cleanser would be, stuff that surprised me, a bunch lighter, maybe some comedic twist or whatever, just fun stuff. So I picked of Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove, or This Will Be Fun by E.B. Asher. Those were really cute, uplifting, fun stories to read. But also, I'll never not recommend Sweet Bean Paste, and that's by Dorian Sakagawa. I'm so horrible at pronouncing names, so I apologize for that. But it's a very short story. It's quick. It's cute, but it has a lot of unsuspected depth. And so you follow this old woman who wants to work at a bakery type of store with this guy who's struggling to keep the store afloat. And she convinces him to let him help her out. And so she creates the sweet bean paste by scratch because he was just using, store-bought stuff, and nobody was coming and buying it. And so you follow this beautiful friendship that develops, but then you get kind of more her life history and why she's there, because she's kind of disfigured, and she's got some disabilities and stuff that made him want to keep her, like, go ahead and make my my food for me, but then stay in the back and please don't interact with our customers. I don't want you to scare them away. So it slowly develops where she does get to interact with people. They actually, she finds like a home there and peace there. But then you get, deeper into her story. And it was something I had never read about before. I don't want to spoil it because it was definitely worth the read. So if you're looking for just a sweet, thoughtful book that's short and would be a good palate cleanser, I highly recommend that one. And then the last one is just tag others. I know that I usually tag Saracen's Salute and Books Do Things for Me, but both of those, they're kind of slowing down and on hiatus. So I guess just anyone who would like to do this, I really liked these prompts. So if you find them, you have good, examples and answers, I would love to hear from you. And so even though he does not have a channel, I am also tagging Doug because you've been answering on these tags and you've had some really good answers. So I do want to hear what you have to say about these. Anyway, thank you and have a great day. Happy reading.